Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Network Ethics. So today it's a day two for our 5-in-1 firewall training program, right? So yesterday we were discuss about the course content and then how the training is going to be, and right. So what is the benefit of learning of these 5-in-1 firewall compo that and all we were discuss, right? So today we are going to discuss about the lab setup in a day two. We are going to discuss about the lab setup, so how to install for your hands-on purpose, how to create your virtual lab in your own laptop or desktop devices, right? So what is the virtualization tool we are going to use and how to install that tool and how to upload the image files inside that tool. So the operating system file of the firewalls, which whatever the product we are going to learn here, that product, firewall products, how to upload the image for that image files, that and all we are going to see today, guys. Okay. So for virtual lab, to install your own virtual lab, to create your own lab setup for your hands-on purpose, we are going to use that tool called 𝑭𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍𝒍, guys. Okay, this is an emulator, next generation emulator. So if you are already worked in GNS3 or Packet Tracer, you are familiar with that simulator products. Okay, so this is an 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍𝒍. It's not a simulator; it's an emulator product, application or operating system. You can say it's okay. You can able to work with all the features when you're using this emulator. It will work with a real device, like very real device itself. Okay, so which means if you go to the packet tracer, if you go to the GNS3, some features of that particular, some of the product like router switching, the GNS3 will not support the normal switching properly. Okay, so it will support routing protocols efficiently, and other devices it will support efficiently like that. And if you go to the packet tracer tool will have some limitations, some features of that Cisco IOS operating system features will not work in a packet tracer efficiently. So but even when you're going to the 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍𝒍, it's in a better emulator tool, so it will work with a n number of vendor products and multiple. When you can able to work with a, you can virtualize your entire network with a multiple vendor product. So if you are going to do hands-on with a Palo Alto, Checkpoint, ASA, FortiGate, right, and Cisco devices, other vendor devices, right, anything, you can use this tool, guys. This tool is very much suitable for wide range of vendor product network, especially in a networking products. Okay. Okay, so this 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍𝒍, actually this 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍𝒍, it's a base, it's an operating, you can say it's an application or it's an operating system, but the mother of 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍𝒍 running behind the mother of operating system of Ubuntu. Okay, you are going to install 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍 operating system above Ubuntu operating system only. Okay, so the Ubuntu is the mother operating system for 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍 software or 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍 operating system. Like, okay, so how to install that 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍 operating system or 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍 tool in your laptop, and how to, after that, how to access your virtual lab from your 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍 tool, that and all we are going to see, guys. Okay, so that 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍 you can install in a 4 different way. Okay, so either you can install your own hardware like laptop or desktop. So in your end device you can able to install your 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍 tool and you can do your hands-on. If you have a server kind of devices, such a huge hardware like rack server or tower server, right, the kind of uh, s- um sorry guys, kind of server uh, product, if you have the hardware you have, right, rack server kind of product if you have with a enhanced hardware, right? So in that case, you can also install your 𝒊𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍 in your server by the help of virtualization application. So these two installation you can do it by the help of installing any virtualization applications. Virtualization applications. So like VMware Workstation or VMware Player, or directly you can install. So this directly in this methodology, you have enough hardware. You can directly install that server is running with a virtualization operating system called EXSI, which is related to which is the VMware operating system, EXSI or NSX. Okay, so about this operating system, either this virtualization application software you can install above in this application, or you can install directly in this operating system. So any of the virtualization application or which is supporting the virtualization features, which is enhancing the virtualization feature in your physical hardwares. Okay, so so you need you need this applications to install your ℕ guys. Okay, so here virtual, why they, even though that is your own hardware only, but we are saying that virtual server, the which means you already one operating system is installed which is supporting the virtualization. Inside that operating system you are going to install the ℕ operating system. Okay, so that is the reason they are call it as a virtual server. The inside, so already it's a physical hardware. Inside that physical hardware you are already installed one virtualization operating system. Okay, so this is a server operating system. It's similar kind of operating system which is supporting the virtualization. Okay, so inside that virtualization operating system, we are going to install one more virtualization operating system called ℕ. ℕ, it's similar to VMware EXSI NXX operating system, guys. Okay, so it's a virtualization operating system only. So inside this virtually already it's installed one virtualization software, I mean operating system. Inside that operating system, we are installing ℕ virtualization operating system. So that's the reason they call it as a virtual server. This deployment, they call it as a virtual server. Okay, so in either your physical laptop end device installation or rack server, you're going to install through rack server by the help of existing virtualization operating system. Okay, so in this installation you need these tool, either VMware Workstation application you need to install in your laptop or desktop, or if you're going to the virtual server installation, we are having some enhanced hardware like kind of rack servers or tower servers, right? So in this hardware, you're already running one virtualization operating system EXSI or NSX. Inside that, you are going to install the ℕ. Okay, so for this deployment, you need the virtualization enhancing softwares or operating system, guys. Okay, so these two installation. But third option, so you can also install ℕ directly the same physical server you're having on server. So that hardware, enhanced hardware. Okay, so in that hardware you can directly install your ℕ operating system, your rack server or tower server. You can, without any virtualization enhancing application, you can directly install your ℕ operating system. So in that case, this is called bare metal, or you can say instead of physical server, you can say it's a bare metal installation. So you are directly installing in your hardware with the ℕ operating system. ℕ, its operating system is it's a kind of virtualization operating system only. It's similar to EXSI operating system. Okay, so this installation you need a huge hardware, guys. Okay, you need a much hardware resources. You need around 120 GB store. At least you need a 64 to 120 GB RAM and 2 DB hard disk, right? So it's need for this bare metal installation. Okay, and at least you need 16 to 32 core or 64 core, sorry, 32 to 64 core processor you need for this bare metal installation. So that is recommended. Minimum should be 16 core processor you need. Okay, okay, guys. So, and also you can install the same eng operating system. So I don't have any laptop. I do have laptop, desktop, but that laptop and desktop, it's an older version, or it doesn't have enough hardware resource to install eng inside the desktop, and I don't have virtual server, any server kind of hardware, and I don't, right? So in that case, still I want to create my own lab setup, then you can go to the Google Cloud platform. You can install your eng in a Google Cloud platform with a free of cost, right, for next 90 days. Okay, and you can install your eng operating system, guys. Okay, so that is the fourth option, installing eng with the Google Cloud platform. So the same Google Cloud, sorry, eng operating system you can install in Azure, guys, Azure as well. So another cloud option. So cloud, you can make it fourth as a cloud option. Okay, in Google Cloud it will support, Azure it will support officially, but AWS it will not support officially, guys. Okay, right? So any of these four method you can install your eng operating system based on your interest or based on your hardware specification, right? So you can choose your installation type, guys. Okay, so in our today's session we are going to see how to install eng operating system, I mean eng operating system to create your virtual lab, right? So in this laptop or desktop, in your end device, how to install that eng workstation. Okay, so in your workstation, guys. Okay, and those who are not I mean those who are not having enough hardware to install your own lab setup, still you want to create your own lab setup, then you can go this Google Cloud platform. If you want to create your lab setup in a Google Cloud, so I'll assist you for that. I'll share that recorded videos for your reference as well, and you can also contact me while doing that installation. So I'll assist you if you need, right? So let's go into the our installation. So in our workstation, we are going to install that eng operating system. Before going to the eng installation, what is the requirement for hardware requirement and software requirements for installing that eng in in your laptop or desktop, that we are going to see, guys. Okay, so this is your hardware requirement and software requirement to install your eng operating system, guys. So minimum requirement, you should have minimum i5 processor or equivalent to the AMD processor, and that processors should support the virtualization. You have to make sure your processor supporting the VTX. If it is an Intel processor, these feature we need to install this eng operating system, VTX or EPT features should be supported. That features are enabling, I mean, that features are supporting the virtualization. Okay, so right. So in your inside eng, you are going to upload multiple devices like router, switch, right, and firewalls. So these devices, you're going to create your topology and you're going to work with these devices. When these devices are going to run, so these devices also need a hardware resources to run this operating system, like processor, RAM, right? So storage, that and all need, right? So that and all, it will get from your local laptop. Okay, so for that, the hardware sharing, virtualization, by the help of virtualization feature, hardware resources are going to shared in your inside eng installed devices with your inside installed devices. Okay, so for that you need to enable, sorry, you need this feature, VTX feature and EPT feature, or else your firewall should support, sorry, your processor should support the EPT feature, guys. Okay, in case it is an Intel processor. In case if you are having a AMD processor, either V AMD-V feature or RVA. Okay, this is the virtualization supporting feature in AMD processor. Okay, so these feature your processor should support, guys. Okay, and after that, minimum recommendation is you 4 GB RAM is enough. The 4 GB RAM is enough to install smaller amount of devices. But the thing is, so when you're working with a multiple firewalls and multiple devices. So better if you have 8 GB RAM, 8 to 16 GB. Okay, if you have 8 to 16 GB RAM, so you can able to work with efficiently, guys. Okay, so the reason you're running with a base operating system, either it's in your local laptop, either it is installed with any Ubuntu or Windows operating system or a Mac operating system, right? So that operating system also needs some RAM to run, and your internal EVNG devices, they need a RAM to run the devices properly. So better to have at least 8 GB RAM. Okay, and if you have i7 processor, okay, i7 processor, that is more uh, sufficient. Or i7 processor with the 8 core process, 8 core octa core. Okay, so at least if you have so that you can able to do your lab efficient way. So this is recommended, but minimum requirement. This is the hardware specification you need to install EVNG. So this is a minimum requirement, guys. Okay, so 40 GB space you need in your hard disk, and okay, and obviously all the hardware having the Ethernet port, right? So that is fine. And at least recommended is i7 processor and 8 GB RAM and 200 GB storage space you need in your hard disk, because when you are installing the each and every devices, that devices to run that operating system, they need a space in your storage. Like if you're not going to store anything on that, but still one Windows operating system to run, install and run that operating system, at least you need a 25 GB space on your one hard disk. Okay, so let's say in your topology, if you're having a 5 to 6 test machines, right, and 4 to 5 at least two firewalls, okay, and then one or two routers, and 3 to 4 switches, you are going to have it, right? So in that case, these devices are going to run with the operating system, and they need a hard to run to run that to install that operating system and run that operating system efficiently. They need a storages. So better, so 40 GB is enough, but to install that EVNG operating system and to work with a smaller kind of minimum number of devices. But if you want to work with a 10 to 15 10 to 15 to 20, more than 15 devices, so then obviously you need a 200 GB storage. So in your hard disk, guys, in your local hard disk, at least you need a 200 GB storage in that scenario, guys. Okay, and this is your hardware requirement. Similarly, the same feature you need for virtualization, and you need one for internet connectivity, you need a Ethernet adapter. Okay, so inside the EVNG devices, we are going to access the real internet, and that can be reached over the your Ethernet adapter. Okay, so so you need that Ethernet adapter as well. So this is your recommended, hardware requirements. So minimum and recommended requirement hardware level. And to install this EVNG operating system, what are the software we need to install? I told you, right? So when you're going to install EVNG operating system by the help of by in your end device or your physical, you're going to install on virtual servers, like in already running with the virtual operating system, right? So in that case, you need any virtualization applications to which is going to support the virtual enhancing your virtualization features in your by using that features, it's going to share the hardware resources between the base operating system and EVNG operating system, right? So for that you need a device which is we need you need to install third-party applications or operating system which is going to enhance the operating system, virtualization. So that are VMware Workstation or VMware Player, or if you're going to install as a direct operating system, then you need a VMware EXSI operating system or NXS. So in our case, we are not going to install a virtual server as a in a we are not having server devices, so we are not going to do this installation. We are going to do this laptop or desktop installation. For that, you need a software called a VMware Workstation or VMware Player. Any one of this application you need to, in this software, you need to install in your base operating system, in your laptop or desktop. Okay, so that version should be VMware Workstation 15.x or later version. Latest version is 17.x. Okay, so I request you to download 16.x. So I'll give you the license for this. I'll share it. However, I am going to share this application and then license and all for installing in your laptop. Okay, so I'll share 16.x application and then licenses, guys. Okay, and in case if you are going to use a VMware player, then you have to download that VMware player application, either 15.x or later version. Okay, and after that you need a EVNG installed operating system. So that EVNG operating system you can, which is pre-installed with your Ubuntu operating system. Okay, EVNG can install with a mother operating system of Ubuntu. Okay, I mean the EVNG's mother operating system is the Ubuntu operating system. So you are going to install the EVNG packages above the Ubuntu operating system. So at least you should have a Ubuntu 16.x. Latest version is 20, almost 20.lts. Okay, so so these are all the software requirements we need. Okay, so this EVNG installation in your laptop, you can do it in again two ways. So by using ISO file, so ISO file of your Ubuntu operating system, you are going to have a ISO file of your Ubuntu operating system. Above that ISO file, Ubuntu operating system, you are going to install manually. You are going to install the EVNG packages, EVNG application. Okay, so for that, for this installation, you need a internet connectivity. So because that packages you are going to download and install from the internet, okay, directly on your Ubuntu server. Okay, where sorry, Ubuntu operating system. So already and today we are going to install by using OVF file. So which means this is in a pre-installed operating system. It's in a virtual machine, which a pre-installed EVNG operating system virtual machine. So the ISO file installation will, it's in a time taking process, and sometimes you will get confused where you have to download this EVNG operating system, how to update that into the Ubuntu operating system. So right, so it is a little bit time taking process than OVF installation. So this is a virtual machine that it's already pre-installed operating system file. Okay, so you can directly use this OVF file installation. So when you're using OVF file to install EVNG operating system, so that almost 80% of EVNG installation is completed in that. So rest of 10 to 20% only you are going to do manually, guys. Okay, so if you want to know how to install EVNG operating system by the help of ISO file systems, okay, so I'll share the recorded video. I mean, I'll share the link in our YouTube channel. You can able to see that we have a separate playlist for EVNG installation with both the modes, so ISO file installation and OVF file installation. Okay, so if you want, you can refer that, guys. Okay, so I'm going to teach you now with the OVF due to time concern. So I'm going to start with the OVF installation. Okay, OVF by using OVF file type, so virtualization file, we are going to install the EVNG operating system. Okay, so how the I'm going to show you one diagram how we are going to install the EVNG operating system in your laptop. Let's say this is, let's assume this is your laptop or desktop. Okay, so this machine is currently running running with, you can take an example with my desktop, right? I'm running with the base operating system with, okay, let me this is EVNG operating system. This is VMware workstation 16.x we installed it, and above that It is running with your Windows 10, my base operating system. Windows 10.x I have installed. This is my hardware. Okay, so this is my my hardware. In this hardware, I already installed one Windows 10 operating system. So in your scenario also, you're having either Windows or Ubuntu install operating system or Mac operating system in your hardware. So you don't need to do up to these two process. You don't need to do anything because that is your base laptop. Okay, so it's running with your Windows 10 operating system right now. So now I just want to install the 𝑭𝒊𝒐, right? So to install the 𝑭𝒊𝒐 in your laptop or desktop, you need a third-party application which is enhancing the virtualization. So this is going to be a mediator. This tool is going to be a mediator to get your to get to get your physical hardware uh, resources. Like let's say in my machine, I have i7 8-core processor with a 16 thread and 32 GB RAM. Okay, and VTX features. So and 2 TB storage I have. Five. Okay, this is my hardware resources. Okay, so this resources is going to share, this hardware resources is going to share my with my even these are all the 𝑭𝒊𝒐 installed my after in 𝑭𝒊𝒐 of installing of 𝑭𝒊𝒐 operating system installation. I'm going to work with the devices, router, firewalls, firewall 1, firewall 2, like that. I'm going to connect with them and I'm going to draw topology and I'm going to work with these devices, right? So these devices need a hardware resources. So this hardware resources we will get from the local machine by the help of this VMware Workstation application. So this application is going to get the hardware resources from local hardware, and it is going to provide to your 𝑭𝒊𝒐 operating system installed devices. So inside that 𝑭𝒊𝒐 operating system, we are installing multiple devices. These devices are having different operating system routers, iOS operating system, and then firewall, maybe if it is a Palo Alto, it's a PAN operating system, and checkpoint Gaia operating system. Windows machine is going to have Windows operating system. So multiple operating system we are going to emulate. So right. So that operating system, to run these operating system, we need a hardware resources that will be getting from your local hardware. For that, your this VMware Workstation tool will help you guys. Okay, so that you need to install this VMware Workstation, and while installing this 𝑭𝒊𝒐 operating system, the enough hardware, how much of processor you are going to provide this 𝑭𝒊𝒐 operating system. Okay, and this 𝑭𝒊𝒐 operating system will give you the hardwares to the this installed devices like router, switches, and all. Okay, so this VMware Workstation is going to provide the hardware. So while inside that VMware Workstation, you are going to install this 𝑭𝒊𝒐 operating system. While installing that 𝑭𝒊𝒐 operating system, the hardware requirements we are going to specify how many number of processor, how much of RAM you are going to allocate, how much of the hard disk you are going to allocate. Everything you are going to provide that. Okay, so that whatever the hardware resource you are allocated, that will be on this 𝑭𝒊𝒐 operating system from your VMware Workstation, that will be getting from your local hardware. Okay, for that's the reason we are installing this VMware Workstation application as a third party in between via 𝑭𝒊𝒐 operating system to base operating system. So your I mean, in your in between the Windows operating system. Okay, clear guys. So after that, after install 𝑭𝒊𝒐 operating system, you are going to start to upload the image files of each and every devices, whatever we need for this training, like router, switch, firewalls, Palo Alto, FortiGate, checkpoint, ASA, FTD, right? All these tools we are going to upload and based on our training. Okay, so you are going to use this tool, guys. Okay, so this is how you are going to our installation is going to be there, guys. Okay, clear. So as of now, when you're doing this installation in your laptop, so these two process already completed. You're having base operating system, might be Windows or Linux, and this is your hardware. And all you need is you need to download that VMware Workstation. That VMware Workstation you need to install, say either 15.x or later version. Okay, and then inside that VMware workstation, you are going to upload the 𝑭𝒊𝒓 file. You are going to use that 𝑭𝒊𝒓 file to install 𝑭1j operating system. Okay, and then after installation of 𝑭1j operating system, you are going to upload these devices, operating system of these devices, guys, router, switch, firewalls. Okay, up to now, any doubts or you need any clarification, guys? So I'm going to start the installation process. So any doubts? Shall I move on to the installation, guys? Yes. Okay, fine. Okay, because if you look at that, this is my VMware workstation in application I have installed. Okay, so this application I'm having 16.x application. So I have already installed and I already have some lab setup in that, right? And now in your scenario, it will be like this. After install this tool, it will be empty space. So you have to open that VMware workstation application. And now to create your virtual machines, right? So if you're going to the ISO file type of installation, then you can create, first you need to create your virtual you need to create one virtual machine, and that virtual machine you have to allocate your hardware resources, how much of hardware, RAM, and what is the operating system you're going to install, how much of RAM you need, how much of processor you need, how much of storage you need, everything you have to define it. But here we are not using ISO file, so we are you going to use pre-installed operating virtual machine files to install 𝑭1j operating system. Okay, so for that you need to use that 𝑭1j operating system file. Okay, I'll share this file, 𝑭1j operating system file. This is your 𝑭1j operating system file. Okay, this is pre-installed virtual machine. Inside this virtual machine, we install almost we are installed 𝑭1j operating system. Okay, so so this file you have to use to create your own lab setup. So you should not use this virtual disk. This is the storage. Okay, this is the store operating system storage. Okay, so you should not use this file to open your virtual machine. You should use the 𝑭𝒊𝒓 file, open virtualization file format. Okay, so that file you have to use it, guys. Okay, let me format, right? This 𝑭𝒊𝒓 file. Right, this is that 𝑭𝒊𝒓 file format. Okay, so open virtualization format package. So this file, just go after download this, you have to download entire virtual disk with 𝑭𝒊𝒓 file and MF file. Okay, so configuration file, right? So these files you need to download, which I'm going to share with you. So all these three files you need to download. After download this file, to open your virtual machine, you need to use this file to open your virtual machine. Okay, so select your 𝑭𝒊𝒓 file format and right click on it, go to open with, and whatever the application which is, I mean, we have installed for which is supporting the virtualization, right? So VMware workstation, that application you have to choose it. Okay, open or VMware workstation. While open that, now what we are doing, that operating system file we are importing into the this virtual machine. Okay, so it is asking you to provide the virtual machine name. It is for this operating system we are going to install this virtual machine. So it's asking you to provide the VM file. So VM name. So this virtual machine name I'm going to give. So 𝑭1j, just give that 𝑭1j. Okay, that is the virtual machine name. So this virtual machine, it's going to install on my local storage. Okay, so under documents, C drive, under documents, this virtual machine is going to install. Okay, so if you want to customize on which, so as of now, in my, if you look at my storage, okay, This is my storage. C drive, I have around 95 GB space. So I don't know if I want to allocate more than 100 GB space in my hard disk for this virtual machine, then this drive is not enough. So you can choose your any other drive where you have a available space. Okay, so now I'm going to choose my E drive or F drive to install this EVNG operating system. Sorry, this virtual machine. So after that, whatever I'm doing in that EVNG operating system, like creating the topology, working with the devices, all the storage will be stored in this directory only. So which this is the directory you are going to choose, right? So where you are going to choose to store that virtual machine storage, right? So that virtual machine, whatever you are doing in your EVNG operating system, everything will be stored under this disk, virtual disk. This is nothing, it's in a virtual disk, it's your storage. So for your EVNG operating system, so whatever you are doing in your EVNG operating system, that will be stored in this drive. So virtual disk file, VDX file, you are going to create. Okay, so I'm going to allocate the proper space, so I need to install in a different drive. So go to this PC and then F drive under VMs. I just want to install this. So just this is the directory where my VMware file, this EVNG operating system storage file is going to store under this directory. So F drive VMs. Okay, import. Once that import process is completed, you can, sorry, yes, it is completed and you can see. So we are not allocated these hardwares, right? So 8 GB RAM and 8 core processor, 60 GB storage and all, we are not define it. So because this is a virtual machine, it's a pre-installed virtual machine which already predefined hardware specification. Okay, so you can customize that. So if you want to increase your RAM or decrease your RAM, increase your processor, decrease your processor and storages and all, you can able to modify after import your virtual machine, guys. Okay, so now this is my virtual machine which we have installed as of which we have imported as of now. So in this virtual machine only we are going to it's a partially installed EVNG operating system it has. So we are going to complete that EVNG operating system installation. Okay, so now go to edit that virtual machine settings. I just want to customize my hardware allocation in this virtual machine. So in that I have totally 8 core processor, and each processor are having 2 threads. So totally 16 threads I have. This is my full processor resource. I don't want to allocate full processor resource. So I just want to allocate first 4 core processor and 4 core. In 4 core, I just want to allocate full threads. So eight totally two each core. I have 2 threads, so entire 2 threads I just want to utilize in my first 4 cores. So totally 8 core processor I have it. I'm going to allocate in this virtual machine, and after that I just want to increase my RAM. So I'm having 32 GB RAM in my store in my local hardware. In that I just want to give 50% of RAM for this this virtual machine, even this EVNG operating system. Okay, so I have increased 16 GB RAM, or if you want to decrease 4 GB, 6 GB, 8 GB like that, you can increase and decrease like this, guys. Okay, and this is your storage. Okay, so it's since it's a predefined virtual machine, so it's already allocated for 60 GB storage for your virtual machine, your hard disk. Okay, so that you can see that under VM's F drive, this hard disk is going to save. Okay, and as a VMDK file, virtual disk file. Okay, VM disk file. Okay, now I just want to increase this storage. For that, go to expand. To increase your, to modify your hardware resources, increase or decrease, you should shut down your virtual machine. While the machine is running state, you can't able to increase or decrease your hardware allocations. Okay, so you have to shut down your machine, then you have to you have to modify, you can modify that hardware allocation. Okay, so either increase or decrease, guys. Okay, so now go to storage and expand. I just want to assign 200 GB storage or 100 GB storage. Okay, so let me allocate 200 GB storage as of now and expand. So now it will be expanded up to 200 GB storage, guys. Hardware okay, yes, hardware allocation is completed. So in 16 GB RAM, 8 core processor, 200 GB RAM, and I have one network adapter, Ethernet adapter, and that adapter type you can use bridged mode. And if you want to connect with the real internet, you can choose either bridged mode or NAT mode. So if you're using a bridged mode, your this EVNG operating system adapter will be directly connected with your physical LAN network. Okay, so your, let's say right now in my local machine is connected with my local LAN. So let me show you that my LAN. Okay, so you can see that 190.160.0.0/24 network. So if I choose bridged mode network type of adapter, that will be directly connected with my physical LAN network. So it will part of my LAN network. It will act like part of my LAN network. So I can able to communicate with my LAN devices as well. And also from my LAN gateway, I can able to access the internet as well. Okay. And I don't want to connect this virtual machine with my physical LAN network, then still I want to access the internet, then you can go with the NATed mode. So your virtual machine will be treated as a different network, and by using NAT option, you can able to access the internet. Okay. And other two options, like you can host only, means this virtual machine can communicate with your local, I mean your base machine, up to base machine, not any, and you can't able to communicate with your entire LAN network, and you can't able to communicate with the internet, both it's not possible. Okay, so better, my suggestion, you can just go with the bridged mode, so that any your local LAN resources, if you want to access this lab, you can able to access from your LAN itself, or else, and as well as you can able to connect the internet, real internet as well, guys. Okay, so better you can go with this bridged mode. Okay, that's all about the hardware allocation. Just click OK. Now switch on your virtual machine to complete your installation process, guys. So power on that virtual machine. So once the virtual machine is booted, it will ask you to the login. Okay, so it will ask you to provide the credentials, login credentials. Your EVNG have two type of consoles. Okay. A SSH or GUI option, CLI or GUI option you can go. Okay, and so the CLI access or SSH access you need to access when when you're going to upload the image files, when you're going to configure the IP addresses on your interfaces, right? So that time only the GUI access you're going to use when you're going to access your workspace of your EVE-NG. So where you're going to draw the topology and you're going to access your installed devices like routers, switches, right? So whatever the devices you're going to upload inside the EVE-NG, that devices access you need to access through GUI, guys. Okay. So for CLI access, it has a different user credential. So the credential are username. Username is the root. Password is Eve. All are small letters, guys, by default credential. So when you want to access the GUI console, that time username is the admin, password is Eve. Okay, clear, guys. So you can see that I have selected bridged mode adapter. Okay, and it is automatically get the IP address from my DHCP server, my LAN DHCP server on this EVE-NG operating system. And right, so to call your SSH console, you can able to access the SSH console inside directly your EVE-NG, sorry, your VMware workstation. Or if you want to access the GUI console, you have to call your I mean your management IP of your EVE-NG operating system through HTTP protocol. Okay, so and you have to use this IP address to call your GUI console of EVE-NG, guys. Okay, so let me first log in with that EVE-NG operating system CLI console first. Okay, so let's say it's now it is asking the credential. So which credential? Right now I'm in a SSH console of my EVE-NG, CLI console of my EVE-NG. So what kind of credential I have to provide? Username should be the root, password is Eve, all are small letter, it's not visible. Okay, and now you can see as soon as I have uh, given my credentials, it is asking me to set the password for my root user. It's asking me to reset the password for a root administrator. Okay, so using the password I'm going to reset again, the password Eve, and then a repeat password Eve. So this is not visible. You have to click your cursor on that password text box, and then you have to type your passwords, and when you click OK, it will go next levels, guys. Okay, and now just hit OK. And now, so this EVE-NG has a host name as a EVE-NG. So if you want to change the host name for this machine, so you can change. So I just want to give a name as EVE-NG. EVE-NG fine one. Fine one is the host name I'm going to give it, guys. Okay, and just click OK. And if, in case in your infrastructure, if you have any domain name server and if you want to add this, so you can add DNS domain name and all. So we don't have any DNS server, just leave it as it is. If you don't want to change anything, just leave it as it is and click OK, it will go to the next level. And now you can see by default this EVE-NG IP assignment is it's enabled with the DHCP server. So in my in my LAN network, I have Wi-Fi router. So my Wi-Fi router is a DHCP, act like a DHCP server right now. So I will get the IP address from that. Okay. So in case you in your LAN network, if you don't have a DHCP server or you don't want to assign the IP address by DHCP server, you want to use the static IP address, then you can scroll down, you can change the IP address instead of DHCP server IP assignment, you can change the IP assignment to the static. For that, you have to scroll down. Okay. And so I mean, to scroll down, you have to click the down arrow. Okay, down arrow button, and now you can see I just scroll down and up, scroll up, right? So that's what I am doing, but I am not selecting that IP assignment mode. from DHCP to static. Still, you can see that star is selected option, guys. Okay, so DHCP is still, it is selected as a DHCP IP assignment. Okay, now I want to select that. For that, what you have to do, you have to scroll down, then you have to hit the space bar. Okay, space bar to select that static IP assignment. Okay, now you can see that star is changed from DHCP to static method. Okay, and just click OK to assign the IP address. Okay, what is the IP you want to provide to access your _G console? So you have to provide from, since we are in, we have used the IP assignment, sorry, network adapter mode as a bridged mode. So better you have to provide the IP address from your LAN network. So I'm going to provide 192.168.0.100. I'm going to assign this virtual machine. Okay, and then go next, and it is asking for the subnet mask. So just provide your subnet mask, that is /24.255.255.255.0. And then if it is asking for the default gateway, for my LAN network default gateway is 192.168.0.1. So that I can in future, if I want to access the internet and as well as I want to communicate with my LAN network devices, so I can communicate over my LAN gate, right? So 192.168.0.1. That is my LAN gateway. And for internet connectivity, if you need a DNS server as well, right? So DNS, I am going to give, if you have a local DNS, you can just give your local DNS IP. And now I'm giving as a global DNS IP right now. Okay. And secondary DNS and all I don't have, so just leave it as it is. And in case in your production network, if you have any NTP server, you can just give it, guys. I don't want to give right now. So I don't have any NTP server, just leave it and click OK. And when you're connecting this VM, when this VM want to connect with the internet, so how you want to connect, any proxy authentication or proxy method you are going to do, or directly you want to connect with you as it is your LAN. Okay, I just want to connect with a direct internet connection as it is my LAN. Okay, so just select direct connection and that's it, guys. Okay, so now your _G will be rebooted. Once the _G rebooted successfully, your installation process, _G installation, _G operating system installation is successfully done, guys. Okay, so now you can see whatever the IP you have assigned, that is updated here. Okay, so the host name, it is also changed, right? So now to access the GUI console, so our main concern is we are going to work with the _G topologies, right? So we need to draw some topology and we need to work with that FortiGate, I mean any firewall devices, right? So for that you need to access the GUI console. So to access the GUI console, go to your base machine browser, because we are having a direct connection with this VM machine. Okay, so just go with your base machine and open your operate browser with this IP address. I mean to call this IP address in your browser. So let's go my local browser, Chrome. Okay, and then just type HTTPS. So right, so you no need to mention HTTP. So since we automatically choose HTTP protocol only, 0.100. Now you can see this is your _G GUI console, guys. Okay, this is your _G GUI console. Here only you are going to log in. So for this credential, you should not use the root user. You should use the admin credential, admin. So it's all our small letters, admin. I'm not sure what is the, okay, admin password is EU. Okay, and then select your console type. I'll tell you tomorrow, because today it's not possible to complete your _G, I mean uploading the images into the _G. So that is second part of your lab installation. That will take another 1 hour, more than 1 hour to explain you properly, guys. Okay, so the tomorrow I'll tell you how to, what is native console and what is the difference between the HTML5 console and native console, guys. Okay, I'm going to select HTML5 console as of now and log in. See, this is your _G workspace. Here you can start to create your lab. Okay, so just create one lab. So Fine one. Just I'm creating as a lab folder as a fine one. Inside this folder, I'm going to create my lab. Okay, create new lab. Okay, lab name. It's a test lab. I'm going to test file. Test lab I'm going to create and save that changes. And this is your workspace, guys. Here only you're going to start to draw topologies. So add node. So here only your uploaded image devices will be listed, guys. So these many devices, these are all these devices are not uploaded in your virtual machine. This 𝑭𝒊𝒊𝒄 operating system. This 𝑭𝒊𝒊𝒄 operating system will support these many vendor products. Okay, so okay, 100 Apple, right? Cisco devices and Palo Alto, 14net, FI, right? So Juniper, right? A number of products, Sophos, Barracuda, Viptela, and there is one pre-installed virtual PC. It's pre-installed that PC. Okay, that you can use to draw your topologies. So like, and go to node and type VPC virtual PC. So this is limited. This is the PC for testing purpose. You can use. You can assign the IP address and you can do ping and trace route. You can execute ping and trace route commands. So for testing purpose. So rest of it will not support the GUI. It will support the CLI. And that too, you can use the test commands only, guys. So this is how you are going to provide the connectivity between two devices. So okay, so in and to start this machine, so select and right click and your machine will be started. And to access the console of this machine, you can see when I double click on that machine, that virtual PC console is automatically open through in my browser. Okay, and clear, guys. So this is your 𝑭𝒊𝒊𝒄 operating system. That's all about the 𝑭𝒊𝒊𝒄 operating system installation. And the second phase of your lab, it's about uploading the image files. Okay, 𝑭𝒊𝒊𝒄 image files to uploading the 𝑭𝒊𝒊𝒄 image. I mean, any other vendor products like Palo Alto, Cisco router switches, that VM image files you're going to upload inside the 𝑭𝒊𝒊𝒄. Okay, so for that you can't directly upload that image files. You need, or else you can't directly copy paste that image files. You need a third party tool called WinSCP, or so SFTP the application you need which is supporting the SFTP protocol. Okay. So that third party application you need to install in your local machine where from where you are going to upload the image file. So where you have that router switches image files in that machine, you have to install that WinSCP application which is supporting the SFTP services. So WinSCP, I already installed that application, so I'll share with you. Okay, so from this application only you can upload the image files, guys. Okay, so that phase, uploading the image file phases, we will do it tomorrow. So that I can, what I'm going to do tomorrow, so I'm going to show you how to upload the image files, and I'm going to do some manual errors while uploading that image files, because you are going to do, when you're creating your lab setup, you're going to face that kind of errors. Okay, because your 𝑭𝒊𝒊𝒄 will use to detect the each and every operating system like router, switch, firewall, right? And it is using the, for different vendor products, it is using the different naming concepts to detect that VM machines inside the 𝑭𝒊𝒊𝒄. So you have to follow some naming procedures and all. Okay, in case if you're not follow that naming procedure while uploading that image file, what are the error you're going to get, and how, if you're getting that specific errors, how to rectify that, everything I'll teach you tomorrow, guys. Okay.